post this to board docs as well, so people.
So we can say whatever, too. So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-150.
Yeah, second.
Discussion.
Did you guys wanna at least state the title of it, so anybody
Do you
watching?
have a copy in front of you,
this
right?
one?
Yes.
Resolution, yeah.
If
so-
you want
Good idea.
somebody to speak يعني small issue يعني go ahead.
So, Resolution 2022-150, resolution authorizing judgment levy of up to 1.5 mils on property tax rolls to fund expenses associated with remedial measures ordered in Garrett et al. Versus Hamtramck.
Okay, so it's on the floor now.
For
Let's
discussion.
discuss.
Yes. That's it.
Is there a second?
Yeah,
Yes,
there
I
was-
give a second.
Yes.
All right.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman Charlie.
I'm trying to think hard to figure out the way to address this issue. I had an impression of that this would help fix this our source
Something different
backups.
Completely.
That's different, right? It's not that it's, okay. And so this 3 remaining units, housing development left, and we are going to levy 1.5 mils, $40 to $50 is gonna increase on this current assessed value, or the,
So this would be a levy of up to 1.5 mils of
And-
assessment onto the next tax roll season, which is under $40 a year for the average Hamtramck residents in order to satisfy the lawsuit of Garrett versus
Garrett versus-
Hamtramck, in order to fund what we need to do to satisfy that lawsuit.
and how do you sure that this will satisfy the lawsuit?
Well, we need the
And how
funds-
long it's gonna be going for?
We need the funds in order to, basically, we've been ordered to build 3 houses.
Sure.
We do have some things in place to fund those houses, but we don't have everything in place to fund it completely. In addition to the plaintiff's fees that we get charged in excess every month. And this will help alleviate that and help us to close out this lawsuit once and for all. We are hoping, as well, this will be a one-time thing. But, you know, as lawsuits go, I mean, it's been going for a really long time. But this is our plan to try and get what we need to close this out once and for all.
Sure.
Barring anything extreme, as long as we build these houses and it seems like that's gonna be done in the next year, then the case will be closed out completely, and hopefully no longer will have to pay any attorney's fees, which we've been paying for over 40 years, to, I think his name is Barney.
So this 1.5 mil will just pay the attorney's fees, or
It pays everything.
everything's?
All the
And then we
ancillary
go
fees.
back to reassess the property, we take out, we don't, we go back
Once
to,
the case closes,
close,
this
the
closes.
1.5 mil stops,
Goes away.
And it might not even be the 1.5, it's
up to
1.5.
1, the
Which
word
is
up
what
to.
we need, and that gives us a little flexibility in case.
Well, you
the
will be
cost
going up
overruns.
to, when it's up to you, I mean, you will be going up to that much because you wanted the money to fix that.
The average taxpayer this will be like next to, it's very small.
Except for those who are buying on high prices, you know, $250,000 paying for these houses, that,
If you have a $600,000 house in the city of
There-
Hamtramck, you're gonna pay a little bit more.
yeah.
Point taken.
It's not gonna be all that much, though, for somebody who can pay for a $600,000 house.
Okay, here's a perspective from the residents that we hear this, as you all hear that from the residents, property owners, that, hey, property taxes is so high than other cities. We live in a city, less than 2,000 square feet house, you know, $3,000, $4,000. Adding this to, how do we address that? What's you know, I understand this is the litigation, this is the lawsuit from 50 plus years, you know, we wanted to dissolve it, we want to move on, but increasing the taxes,
We don't want to,
I'm up
we
for it,
have
I'm up
to.
for it, I'm
We
just
have
talking
to.
about it, we have to,
It's
now we're going for
basically
judge.
a must.
Why would they ask, what if they ask, like, why did you not put it on the ballot instead of you guys voting it on the,
This isn't an
on
issue
your
for
own?
the ballot,
Well,
though, that's,
it-
it's a
Yeah,
resolution.
it's not,
No.
it doesn't work like that.
No, okay.
This is a judgment levy basically from the,
But we are allowing to the judge to make the decision.
well, we're
right?
not allowing, we're
Or
consenting
consent.
to it. However, if we let it go further, and I'm sure Jim can talk about it further, it'll get much worse for us. So according to right now, the place we are with the court, they're not happy with what we're doing. So if we continue and we don't fund this, we don't get this done, the
We're-
results could be dire for the city, and the costs just continue to grow. And one way or the other, the residents are paying for it, whether it's through this levy or not. This just allows
Yeah.
us to continue city functions.
City function.
So how much do we pay the attorneys every year for this, or every,
On
Yeah,
average, for the plaintiffs, roughly, approximately 20 to 30,000 a month.
so if we are paying Wood Hill Group more than 30,000 a month to help us with the financial issues. Isn't that a problem for us too? Like,
We don't have a choice.
I know, but is this that urgent that we have to do it as soon as possible? When we are already working on the last year, we have the funds for the 3 houses, we can just, do something to rush and get the money and,
Do we
Get
have the
done with
full
the case?
funding? Do we have the full funding for the houses?
we have 950,000.
Yeah,
They got 900
it's
some.
it's still in the process. I mean, we're anticipating getting it. It's not completely done. Part of the problem is we were locked into specific pricing, which we already did not have enough to cover with the grant. Because of delays in getting it through in the approvals from the county level, we lost that locked-in pricing. I anticipate it going up. Everything's going up. I don't know even to this point of how much it's gonna go up. I mean, it could go up significantly. It's an unknown right now. We haven't even reached back out to the company until we got the blessing back from the county to be able to do it. But we're not trying to waste any time. We are hoping this is a one-time thing and we can close this out. The quicker we get these houses built, the quicker this thing could be over altogether.
You save so much money on the books at the end of the day, not paying this attorney $30,000 a month.
I mean, this would also, like, that 30,000 would almost answer the impending question of the end of the city manager hiring process and people returning to proper
No,
positions and
I'm
stuff like
just
that. I
saying,
know there's.
if this, are we like out of funds that serious to just use this as the last and only solution to cover it? Because now, the residents, the first question, it doesn't matter if it's $20 or 40 or 50, they will make it as a big deal. I'm sorry, we promised them that we will only raise taxes if it's the last resort for something serious.
Yeah.
So is this that serious to do it? If we don't do it this only 1 year, we did it for 53 years, for 54, and if we don't do it this year, we'd go bankrupt or something?
We've had funding in the past specifically allocated for this, as it was explained to us. I mean, we were being assessed for this previously. The city of Hamtramck taxpayers were paying extra in taxes to fund this along the way. That is no more. We don't have the extra money for this. I mean, this is completely shouldered out of the general fund, and as we know, is very curious of where we're gonna land on this. We have a budget in place right now that we're following, but it's very tight, and costs are up. I mean, we can't get around that, so, if we have to shoulder this out of the general fund, I mean, it's, some point, maybe we don't balance, so, I don't know, there's very large pieces on the table moving around right now, including the potential loss of the Dickerson of over $1 million, $1.2 million we're gonna lose.
You're also losing $300,000 plus a year to this lawyer for getting fees for supervising this lawsuit that just don't need to be paid. Over the next 10 years, how much is 300,000 times 10? I'm terrible at math, but it's a lot of money.
3
Yeah.
million.
But
3
why would
million.
it,
So you're saving $3 million over 10 years with this move, which it's taxpayer funds that could go towards so many
but
things.
why would
especially with
it, why would
Dickerson
it go
going away.
10 years when we are in the last phase of building the
Well,
3 houses? And we got the funds.
We're trying to
sitting there.
cover the costs so we don't blow up our budgets.
I understand, but let's say every year we spend 300,000, and this is the last year we can get done with it. I mean, I'm just not understanding if that 300,000 will cause a serious problem to the budget, and when we can just do it and get done with the 3 houses and get done with the case.
So you had said September 2023 as a date, and so say if we don't pass this, could the houses get built by September 2023?
I mean, we're gonna do everything we possibly can to get that done. I mean, we're gonna move forward. I mean, where we end with the budget, I don't know.
Do we
Yeah,
have
I
until
can't.
September of 2023 to not get a judgment levy assigned to us versus one we consent to?
Maybe a question for Jim.
It's possible. I mean, I think, you know, if you order the houses without knowing when the grant funds are gonna come in, and you're prepared to deal with the consequences of that, which may leave you short cash, yeah, but I mean, the houses have to be ordered.
So
And
it-
right now, you're ordering the houses, it's kinda like, you know, you need a new car, and you've got a gift coming to you from a patron to pay for the car, but in the meantime, it's not, the gift hasn't come, but you need the car, and so you take it out of your grocery money. What are you gonna do to eat while you're waiting for the gift to arrive? And that's what the grant from the county is we were fortunate to get it, although the money, the actual cash is not flowed in yet, and we're not quite sure when that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in the next few months, but the houses really have to get ordered now, or we're gonna lose another construction season, that's my concern. You know, I wanted to order the houses back in August, and Max can tell you, I was pressing pretty hard to get them ordered. But
So if we destroy our budget and pay it out of pocket and don't accept this, what services are at risk of not being implemented during that
I
time?
mean, anything. I mean, everything and anything. I mean, what don't we pay? So if we don't have the money, I mean, what do we pick not to pay?
It'll put us in a very precarious situation where we're not gonna look very good at the very,
Do we
very
not
least.
pay for EMS? Do we start letting significant amounts of employees go? I mean, what, do we not pay for the pension? I mean, pick your poison, I guess.
Here's something that could happen, people could decide to pay their income taxes this year. And, you know, you might collect the money that you should be collecting from income taxes that people don't pay. Because it's such a high level of non-compliance, probably from the folks that are gonna scream the loudest
I mean,
about a
we're,
$40
possible direction we can go, we're going, including this, because we're doing our best to balance the budget, provide the best services we possibly can, and get these lawsuits off of the tax rolls, or, you know, off the budget. So, I mean, I don't have an answer for everything. I mean, we will do everything possible in our power to keep it within costs, but, I mean, I can't guarantee that. There's very big things moving on the board.
So, when will you be sending out this, new bills, tax
This
bill?
would
Is it
be, was
next
it
year?
summer?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we would have to rush to get it onto the February bill, because your tax rolls are gonna be certified the first week of December.
December, for
Yeah,
December.
I'm just trying to see.
The form that you send to the county saying what you're levying, I think is due, I'm not sure what the date is this year, but it's usually the first week of December.
So it's today or not at all?
I still have time.
Another-
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
our first meeting in December would be the 8th.
yeah, correct. And remember, you've got another issue that's gonna be coming
Second
down the
week
pike
from
at that
December,
meeting as well.
second week.
So there is a little bit of a time crunch on this, because we need to in my opinion, we need to recoup the losses out of this budget. And if we push it too far, we won't catch the right tax bill, and it'll get pushed off to a later tax bill, and then we're kind of back in the spot we're in.
So when would this go into effect if it passes?
If we're able to get the judge to sign the order within the next week or so, which is not unlikely because the plaintiffs obviously don't object to it, then you'd be able to get it out of the February tax bill.
Yeah.
So if
We were
we,
paying for this before, so. So I mean, it's not,
If we go ahead and focus on other stuff, like, you know, looking for a CFO to, you know, get the job, and instead of paying 400,000 a year to the group that's helping us, we can just pay 200, 120, or whatever he gets. Isn't that gonna save us so much money? Like,
I mean, we're already well over, like, we're already probably about 100,000 over budget there alone. So, I mean, that's what we're projected to be, about 100,000 over budget because of the no CFO. Even if we get one now, we're still gonna be about 100,000 over. So, we thought we had one lined up today, but it fell through. It's not for lack of trying. We're advertising the heck out of that position. We're asking everyone we know. I mean, unfortunately, there's lots of CFO positions in finance out there right now, and, I guess our spot isn't as attractive.
What
so.
CFO wants to come in onto a sinking ship where the revenues are way less than what the expenses are? Who wants to take that job on for $250,000? I mean, you have fixed costs that you can't shed, and you have revenues that aren't growing with inflation, because in large measure, I mean, I used to be of the mind that this was a problem created entirely by the state of Michigan, and to a large degree it is, but the state has stepped up in the last couple of years. The question is whether that will continue. The problem now is a local problem. The residents have the ability to solve their financial problem. They are undertaxed. I can say that publicly because I don't care whether you fire me tonight, I don't care. I mean, but your residents you are generating the same amount of income tax that you generated in 2005. There are more residents, people are making more money. There's an issue with non-compliance. That's one issue that the residents are in control of. They're not stepping up to pay their income taxes, then the money's gotta come from somewhere. And this is one legal avenue that you have available to you, and it's gonna happen either by consent or eventually it's gonna
but
happen
listen, now
by force.
we are adding the tax to the people who are already paying taxes. We need to fix the problem by looking for those who are not paying taxes and just find a way to make them pay taxes, right?
We 100% are. We've
Right.
increased in that department, we've added staff, and we are 100% going after compliance. And we are doing well at it. We have upped it considerably, but we're not where we need to be yet, but it's a constant battle. Like I said, every possible avenue we can do to try and raise funds to balance our budget, to be able to provide the best possible services we can in the city, we are doing.
So I'm not, you know, if this is the only way we can use to solve the problem, I would support it. But I'm just saying, have we tried anything else? Like we heard this year that we will get more support from the state for the pension contributions. They will pay 60% instead of 42%. And that would relieve so much pressure from the budget. And we read that the state share in revenue is the highest in 20 years. So I was expecting that these will have some positive effect and they will help us. And we are not that desperate to, you know, just shift the solution to the
problem is a
residents.
cumulative one, Mr. Mayor. I mean, and this is, you know, this goes back to the presentations you got first from Kathy, myself, and Susan early, the first meeting of the year. You had Plant Moran come in behind us, you had MERS come in, you had UHY, our auditors, come in. All of us are, you know, have told you the same thing. This is you know, you're not gonna fix 20 years of underfunding by 1 year of decent funding. I mean, this is a cumulative problem. If our state revenue sharing had stayed even constant, we would have upwards of $60 million over the course of that period of time that would have gone fixing sewers, gone to paying for ambulances, and all kinds of other things that are desperate needs. You know, Headley limits us, you know, we're now down to 18.3 mills. We've bet up as high as 20. This would put you under that historic high of just under that. And of course, if you want to fix the sewers, you're gonna have to pay for it. And, you know, that's gonna be another, issue that's coming down the pike. My thought is if you get this on the tax rolls, if you get this one on the tax rolls for February, then people are not gonna get hit twice in June when they get a tax bill that's gonna include an assessment for sewers. So, I mean, that's all, you know, that's all stuff that's coming down the pike. And again, if people want their basements to be usable, they're gonna have to pay for it. You know, Santa Claus is not gonna come in with a bag full of cash and fix what is a problem that could have been fixed for pennies on the dollars in the fifties and wasn't taken care of. So, you know,
Mr.
Now you
Mayor, you
gotta
are
get the-
correct that the revenues, the state is helping to fund our pension. However, we don't anticipate seeing any of that money till next year. I was told they won't even have a plan together till April-ish, which means probably towards the end of next year, the money will come, which means by the time MERS even reassesses it to see what our obligation is, puts us out to the next year. So, it'll be a while before we realize any savings there. Yes, the revenue sharing is up, but for how long? I mean,
Excuse me.
so, I mean, we're trying to protect the city, and make sure we have enough money to fund everything in the meantime. I'm hoping that this is a one-time thing, and we can get this over with. As Jim just said, if all goes well, this could hit the next one, and then if all, we could be done with this. We could be done with this lawsuit. 58 years,
54.
this lawsuit's been going on, we have 54 years,
2 years more than I've been alive.
we can potentially close it out, so this is helping us make sure we get there, so. I don't think it's a bad thing.
We can go ahead and vote on it.
I'm like, who's my first
Don't put
victim?
me on the spot. I know.
Oh, this is tough now. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
You picked me tonight 2 times already.
I interchanged them, so it's not against anybody.
My mom did ask if there was a rhyme or reason. I said nope.
I literally just randomly picked throughout the night, but, Councilwoman Chakowski,
Yes.
thank you. Councilman Chowdy,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
No.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 22-150 has been approved, 3-1.
Set.
Now, please, I need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
What time, please?
10:05.